What if I told you that a centuries-old code of conduct could revolutionize modern leadership? Today, we're exploring how Sikh wisdom is transforming executive leadership and entrepreneurship through the lens of the Rehat Maryada.
It's fascinating because the Rehat Maryada isn't just a religious text, it's essentially a comprehensive leadership manual that's been refined over centuries.
Wait, so this isn't just about spiritual guidance?
Not at all. The Rehat Maryada outlines practical principles for how to live, serve, and relate to others. It's particularly relevant for modern leaders because it emphasizes moral clarity and community-oriented decision-making.
Can you break down some of these key leadership qualities?
Absolutely. Let's start with Nimrata, humility. In Sikh tradition, true leadership begins with a humble spirit. It's about listening before speaking and putting the collective first.
That's pretty counter to the stereotypical CEO image we often see.
Exactly. And that's followed by seva, selfless service. Power isn't about privilege, it's about responsibility. Every decision should answer the question, who am I helping? Who am I lifting up?
That reminds me of modern servant leadership principles.
Precisely. Then there's niyam, discipline. It's about consistency in action and alignment with intent. Leaders who practice this demonstrate reliability and self-mastery.
And how does this translate to actual business practices?
Well, take ethical decision-making. The Rehat encourages rejecting unjust profits and ego-driven actions. There's even an IEM Bangalore study showing how Sikh ethics provide a model for moral corporate governance.
That's fascinating. But how do leaders maintain this ethical stance in today's competitive business environment?
That's where Chardikala comes in, resilient optimism. Even amid setbacks or challenges, Sikh leadership calls for a fearless, forward-looking spirit.
So it's about maintaining ethical standards while staying competitive?
Exactly. And here's something interesting. In Sikh tradition, leadership isn't bestowed by title, it's earned through conduct. Rehat over Raj, conduct over position.
That's a powerful principle. How does this play out in modern organizations?
Well, think about inclusive leadership. The Rehat emphasizes the oneness of humanity, ik onkar, and equality across all divisions. Modern leaders use this to build diverse teams and challenge structural inequities.
You mentioned something earlier about inner battles leaders face?
Yes, this is where it gets really interesting. Sikh philosophy identifies 5 thieves: lust, anger, greed, attachment, and ego. These mirror what we now call leadership saboteurs.
Wait, so this ancient wisdom aligns with modern psychology?
Absolutely. And for each saboteur, there's an antidote: contentment, compassion, generosity, detachment, and humility. These are your inner allies.
How do leaders actually practice these principles in their daily work?
Many Sikh leaders, whether in nonprofits or fintech, bring 3 key practices: a calm refusal to exploit others, inclusive decision-making, and daily grounding in purpose.
That sounds powerful but challenging to maintain.
It is, but that's where the discipline aspect comes in. It's about consistent practice, not perfection.
Can you give an example of how this works in practice?
Sure. When facing a difficult decision, a leader guided by these principles would first listen to all stakeholders, consider the broader impact on the community, and choose actions that serve the greater good.
That's quite different from the maximize shareholder value at all costs approach.
Exactly. And interestingly, this approach often leads to better long-term outcomes. It builds trust, loyalty, and sustainable success.
Let's talk about justice. How do Sikh leaders balance accountability with compassion?
Guru Nanak taught that truthful living is higher than truth itself. So while Sikh leaders don't shy away from accountability, they approach it with compassion and understanding.
That's a nuanced approach to leadership.
And it's particularly relevant today when leaders face complex ethical challenges. The Rehat provides a moral compass without being rigid.
How does this translate to crisis management?
During crises, the principle of Chardikala becomes crucial. Maintaining optimism and courage while facing challenges fight on.
That must require significant emotional resilience.
Yes, and that's why daily practices of reflection and remembrance are emphasized. They build the internal strength needed for external challenges.
What about team building? How do these principles affect that?
The concept of Sangat, community, is central. Leaders focus on building inclusive teams where everyone feels valued and heard.
That's similar to modern DEI initiatives.
Exactly, but it goes deeper. It's not just about representation, it's about creating an environment where every voice matters and contributes to the collective wisdom.
How do leaders maintain this inclusive approach in high-pressure situations?
That's where the practice of seva comes in, remembering that leadership is about service, not power. It helps maintain perspective under pressure.
These principles seem particularly relevant in today's business environment.
Absolutely. With stakeholder capitalism gaining prominence, these centuries-old principles offer a tested framework for balanced, ethical leadership.
What about innovation and growth? How do these principles support that?
Innovation thrives in environments of trust and psychological safety. When leaders embody these principles, they create spaces where creativity and risk-taking can flourish.
That makes a lot of sense. How can leaders start implementing these principles?
Start with small, consistent practices. Listen more than you speak. Make decisions through the lens of service. Practice humility in success and resilience in setbacks.
Are there any specific daily practices you'd recommend?
Yes, begin each day with reflection on how you can serve others. Regular self-assessment against these principles. And importantly, seeking feedback from your team.
What about measuring success? How does that work in this framework?
Success is measured not just in outcomes, but in impact on people and community. Are you lifting others up? Are you building trust? Are you serving the greater good?
That's quite different from traditional metrics.
Yes, but interestingly, organizations that embrace these principles often see better traditional metrics too. Higher engagement, lower turnover, stronger innovation.
So it's not just about being nice, it's good business.
Exactly. These principles create sustainable success rather than short-term gains at any cost.
What's the biggest challenge leaders face in adopting these principles?
Often it's overcoming the fear that being ethical and compassionate means being weak or less competitive. But history shows the opposite is true.
How do you maintain these principles when others don't follow them?
That's where personal discipline and conviction come in. The Rehat teaches us to stand firm in our principles regardless of what others do.
It sounds like a powerful framework for modern leadership.
And one that's becoming increasingly relevant as businesses recognize the need for ethical, sustainable leadership approaches.
What's your final advice for leaders interested in these principles?
Start where you are. Choose one principle, maybe humility or service, and practice it consistently. Let your leadership evolve naturally from there.
This has been incredibly insightful. Any final thoughts?
Remember that great leadership isn't about having all the answers. It's about serving with integrity, humility, and courage.
Thank you for sharing these timeless principles with us today.
Thank you. And remember, in Sikh tradition, leadership isn't just about what you achieve, but how you achieve it.
Remember, true leadership starts with service, not power. Until next time.